Good evening, everybody. We would like to welcome you to another Easterseals USF Health Service Corps collaboration with a fall festival story time. We're excited to bring you some fall Halloween stories in addition to some arts and crafts brought to you by USF Health Service Corps. Easterseals and USF have been working together for almost a year now, bringing these literacy events to our families, and we're excited to share and continue on with this new fall event. This time extending it and bringing some activities that go along with it. So I'd like to welcome the head of USF Health Service Corps, Ellen, so she can introduce her volunteers. Welcome, Ellen.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Zifferman. My name is Ellen Kent, and I coordinate the USF Health Service Corps. And the idea of our program is that we work with community partners, wonderful community partners like Ms. Zifferman with Easterseals, and we bring volunteers to help out with a wide variety of service projects. And so today, our wonderful group of volunteers will be reading stories, and our students today are from the USF Judy Genshaft Honors College Volunteer Committee. And we also have two outstanding first-year physician assistant students who are joining us as well. So what we're going to do, and thank you so much to our dedicated volunteers. And we hope that this will be a fun event for all of the Easterseals families. So what we're going to do is we have a number of stories and activities that our students will lead. And the first group that will get started, Audra will lead, and Audra is with the Honors College. So why doesn't your group get started? And you can each introduce yourselves. Thank you so much.
Yes, we definitely will. Hello, everybody. My name is Audra. I am the volunteer committee co-chair along with my partner Divya, who is going to be reading some books with her group later. I am a second-year student at University of South Florida, and I am studying English and political science and minoring in education. And I care very, very much about reading, and I love Halloween. So we're going to be reading some really fun books today, I think. And I even wore a special shirt that I'm going to show you, which has a ghost with books. So I am all dressed up, and I hope you are too. And I am going to let my friends in my group introduce themselves now too.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm a second-year history student at USF with minors in creative writing and religious studies. And I'm very excited to be here today to help read to you all. I've been reading since before I can even remember, and I absolutely love it.
Hi, everyone. My name's Emily. I'm a second-year student at USF, and my major is biomedical sciences. I love reading, and I hope you guys do too, and I hope that we all have a fun time today.
I think we are definitely going to, because we are going to be starting off with one of my favorite books ever. In fact, I pestered my mom to read it to me almost every day when I was a little kid, because I was a little odd and I liked reading about monsters. So I am going to share my screen now, and we are going to read my favorite book from childhood, and I am so excited to share it with you guys. I'm going to let it load really quick, and then we're going to get started. This book is called Frank Was a Monster Who Wanted to Dance, and it was written and illustrated by Keith Graves. And I like this book because Frank the monster looks absolutely hilarious in my opinion, and I think he's just so silly, and I love that he likes to dance. All right, and now I'm going to let my friends get started.
Frank was a monster who wanted to dance. I know I could boogie if they gave me a chance.
So he put on his hat and his shoes made in France, and opened a jar and put ants in his pants.
He drove to the theater. Yahoo! I think this scene's hilarious. Look at all this rain. He's driving through that pouring rain, everybody.
And jumped on stage. Then he danced like his shoe size instead of his age. Some pretty good dancing.
Frank shook his shoulders and strutted his stuff. The audience screamed they couldn't get enough.
Frank did a cartwheel. Yippee! Frank did a flip. Yow.
Out hopped his brain. Ick. Yuck. Eek.
And it plopped on the floor.
Which loosened his eyeball, which rolled out the door.
And after his arm fell out of his sleeve, oops, yikes, run, oh, the horrified audience started to leave.
But Frank kept dancing. He said, "What the heck? Ha 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 ha," and laughed as his head fell off his neck.
He said to himself with a one-eyed glance, I might be a monster, but man, can I dance.
And that, my friends, is the end of this story. And I think that's absolutely hilarious. I think that shows that no matter how funny we may look, we should always dance and have the best time and be proud of the performance that we give, because any performance that we give when we do our best is a great performance. And now I am going to show you guys some coloring pages that do not unfortunately relate to Frank, but they are fun for Halloween. And I am going to switch my share right now, and we are going to look at those. Give me 1 second. I hope you guys like coloring just as much as I do, because it is one of my favorite things. I'm going to pull up some really awesome ones. I know that my friends of all ages like to color, not just people who are young. I think coloring is perfect for everybody. And I am going to show you some of the coolest Halloween pages around. Here we go. Here they are. So look, in this link, they have a ton of different pages that you can cut out that are all Halloween themed. I think these are super fun. I really like this one with the duck and the pumpkin. I think that's super silly. I would probably color this one out myself with a nice little orange trim and some yellow for the duck and some orange beak to match the pumpkin. Also in here, I really like this one too. This one is a candy critter. He's a monster and he has a little horn on his head and he eats candy out of a jack-o'-lantern bucket, and I think that looks like trick-or-treating. And I think that's just a silly monster, so I probably would have wanted to color that one too. We have witches, we have vampires, there's little pumpkins, and there's even Frankensteins. So this link is going to be in the description, and you can go and pick out your own coloring pages and print them out too. And then we can all color pages and have a nice little decoration to have for Halloween. Thank you so much. We're going to read to you again later, but we are going to pass it off to other friends right now. Thank you guys. And I am going to finish sharing my screen.
Okay, I think I'm going next. Is that right? Okay, great. So I'm going to read y'all a Dr. Seuss book. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. Can y'all see that? Oh, okay. Doesn't look like that's working. Let me try. I was trying to share it from my monitor, but let's do. Sorry. Thanks for. Okay, let's try again.
This is the trick that's going to go along with all of our treats today. It was bound to happen sometime, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I tried this earlier, but I didn't have a problem. Let me see.
Kristen, do you need time?
What was I scared of? Sorry. All right. What was I scared of by Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss once said, "You can find magic wherever you look. Sit back, relax. All you need is a book." So here's our story. Well, I was walking in the night and I saw nothing scary, for I have never been afraid of anything, not very. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside of them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved, those empty pants. They kind of started jumping. And then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that I did not care for, no, sir. After that, a week went by. Then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach. I started back through town. When those pants raced around a corner, they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride them, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside them. And the next night, I was fishing for doubt trout on Rover River. Well, those pants came rowing towards me. Well, I started to shiver. And by now I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rode away, and I lost my hook and line and bait too. Oh no. I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my britches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night, the next night too. I'd be there still, no doubt, but I had to do an errand. So the next night I went out. I had to do an errand, had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, "I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them." I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. I then reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing I knew, I felt my hand touch someone. And I'll bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide. And in that dreadful place, those spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help. I screamed, I shrieked, I howled, I yelled, I cried. Oh, save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I had never heard such a whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. So I put my arm around their waist and I sat right down beside them. I calmed them down, poor empty pants with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, "Hi, hi." The end. Thanks for listening to that story. I think during Halloween, there can be a lot of things that we get afraid of. And so I just wanted you to hear about this story about someone overcoming an imaginary fear and realizing that sometimes the things that we're afraid of are also afraid of us, and our shyness can keep us from meeting people or making new friends. So with your mom or your dad or whoever's reading you this book today or is with you, I just would encourage you to share them about what types of things scare you. And if you've ever been scared of something that isn't real or that you didn't understand, and how you got through that, or maybe how your parent or friend helped you get through that, or somebody helped them get through that fear as well. So hope this also gives you courage to face your fears this Halloween.
All right, I guess we can start the craft activity. So hi everyone, I'm Tara, and today I'm gonna show you how to make masks like these for Halloween. So I have a couple here. This is a bat, this is a ninja turtle, and this is a pumpkin. So these are all made out of paper. You will have access to the link where you can print them out. So you'll just print them out like that, and there are different ones. And it's basically a coloring activity. So you can use markers or coloring pencils. And what I like to do to make the colors pop out is I use a darker color on the edge and a lighter color. And that just makes it pop out more. And then I cut them out. And then there are like 2 circles here where you can make like a hole so that you can attach a piece of yarn. And I just use this, like I just measure around my head and cut it out. And then I tie it from the sides so I can just like wear it on my head like that. And that's basically it.
Thank you for that craft idea. And that was an amazing story. I actually hadn't heard of that Dr. Seuss story before, so I have to go get that one. Very well done. Thank you.
So we will be going next. So my name's Divya. I'm also part of the Judy Genshoft Honors College Volunteering Committee, and I'm here with some of my committee members. And we're going to read to you 2 books. So our first one is going to be fall themed, but I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves before we start reading. So my name is Divya, like I said, and I'm majoring in criminology and psychology, and I love interacting with people and doing service. So this is going to be a really great opportunity, and I'm super excited to read to you guys.
Hi, my name is Dana. I'm also part of the honors committee. I'm currently studying finance, and for anyone who doesn't know my costume, I am Aunt Fester, or maybe the female version of Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. And I'll be more than happy to also be reading with the group.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenna. I'm also part of the USF Honors Council, and today we're going to be reading some of my favorite books, and I hope you love them as much as I do.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can you guys see the screen? Okay. So the first book that we're going to be reading is Leaf Trouble by Jonathan Emmett. A fresh breeze blew across the woodland, tickling the tall grass and trembling the trees. Summer had left and autumn had arrived. Pip Squirrel stuck his head out of the nest and sniffed the air. Something's changed, he decided, and he scampered off to find out what it was.
Pip's nest was in an old oak tree. Pip loved the old tree, and he knew every bit of it, from twig to trunk. But something was happening to the tree. It was happening so slowly that Pip hadn't noticed it until now. He skittered to a stop and stared at the leaves beside him.
He was so surprised that he let go of the trunk. Wah! Squealed Pip as he tumbled down through the branches and landed oof on the woodland floor.
Pip lay there for a moment, staring up at the leaves. They've changed color, he gasped, and he was right. The last time Pip had looked closely at the leaves, they had all been green, but now they were lots of colors, yellow and orange and even red.
As Pip watched, one of the leaves dropped off and drifted down towards the ground. He jumped up and ran after it and caught it in his paws, but even as he reached it, another leaf began to fall. Pip ran after the second leaf and just managed to catch it before it touched the woodland floor. Not again, gasped Pip as the third leaf began to fall.
Pip was still racing around, trying to catch the falling leaves, when his sister Blossom scurried up. Good, panted Pip. You're just in time. Just in time for what? Asked Blossom. To help save the tree, puffed Pip. It's falling to pieces. But that's been happening for days, said Blossom, pointing to the leaf-covered ground. Then we've got to stop it now, insisted Pip.
Pip and Blossom collected all the fallen leaves into a big pile. Now what? Asked Blossom. We put them back, said Pip. So Blossom carried the leaves up into the tree where Pip tried to stick them back onto the branches, but it didn't work very well.
Then, all of a sudden, there was a huge gust of wind, and hundreds of leaves began to fall. Pip and Blossom were scrambling around frantically, trying to gather them, when Mom Squirrel arrived. What are you two up to? She asked.
When Mom found out what Pip and Blossom had been doing, she couldn't help but smiling. But Pip, she said, the tree has to lose its leaves. And she explained that taking care of the leaves was hard work for the trees, and that after keeping them all summer, it needed to rest for a while.
But I love this tree, Pip said sadly. It's our home, and I want it back the way it was. It will be, said Mom. When spring comes, the leaves will all come back again. They've only gone away for a while. Like when the sun sets and then comes back again, said Pip. Like when the sun sets, agreed Mom. Except the leaves will take just a little longer to come back.
Pip, Blossom, and Mom played beneath the old oak tree until sunset. Before they left, they collected some leaves to take back to their nest.
Smiling, they're such beautiful colors, said Pip, smiling, and now I understand why. He held up a pawful of leaves to show Blossom and Mom. They're the colors of the sunset, said Pip.
And that's the end of our book. So thank you for reading with us. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's a little book to remind us of all the changes happening in the season. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for the little coloring pages that we have that are also a little fall themed. So you guys can enjoy coloring some leaves, and maybe you can color them all the pretty colors that were shown in the book. Just give me a second. Here they are. So here's just some color pages. They're all about like the autumn and the fall, spring. They have some really cool, pretty leaves and all the parts of that remind me of fall. So there's like pumpkins and leaves. There's a little squirrel, kind of reminds you of Pip, who's in a tree eating an acorn. There's a little house with the farmer getting some apples because fall is a lot of like the orchards. And then here's a little Halloween fall with the pumpkins stacked up. So there's a lot of coloring pages to look through, and you guys can pick some and color them and have a little bit of fun with fall. Here's a really pretty leaf. This one was my favorite. I'd color this all the fun colors that we saw in the book, like the reds, the oranges, and the yellows to remind us of all the fall leaves that are falling. So that was our book. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you. Now, I guess now maybe we'll go back to Audra's group, and they have another book, and then we'll have Divya's group who will do their second book and activity. Thank you so much.
Yes, we are so excited. We have another really sweet book to show you that is also Halloween themed. And this one is about a very small pumpkin. And this book is really important. And at the end, I'll tell you a little bit about why I think it's important to read this book. I am going to share my screen. And we are going to get started reading this sweet and cute book. Okay. I hope everybody can see. This book is called The Littlest Pumpkin, and it is by R.A. Herman, illustrated by Martina Ogden. Here we go. I like this cover. It has a little pumpkin, he's a jack-o'-lantern, and it's got little mice wearing Halloween costumes.
So this is Bartlett's farm stand. It was Halloween, and there were 18 pumpkins left at Bartlett's farm stand. If you count them all up on the page, you'll see that there's 18 of them.
The pumpkins looked their very best because they all wanted to be taken home and made into jolly jack-o'-lanterns. The littlest pumpkin had the biggest dreams of all. She saw herself shining in the dark with ghosts, monsters, witches, and fairies gathered around her singing a Halloween song. And today was the day when all her dreams were going to come true.
Maggie dropped by the stand on her way to school, just as it was opening. I want the biggest pumpkin you have for my class party, she said, looking at the pumpkins on display. She didn't even glance at the littlest pumpkin. The pumpkin Maggie chose was so big, Mr. Bartlett had to help her put it in her mother's car. Look how massive this pumpkin is. Even this tall man is struggling to carry it. That's crazy. She has big dreams here for a really good jack-o'-lantern.
Then the twins arrived. Jess wanted the roundest, fattest pumpkin. Jen wanted the tallest, skinniest pumpkin. They both knew exactly what they wanted their jack-o'-lanterns to look like.
Later that morning, Mrs. Garland's class came to the farm stand to buy apples and pumpkins for the Halloween party. The littlest pumpkin was very excited when she saw all the children. Now certainly, I will be chosen by someone and made into a jack-o'-lantern, she thought. But no one chose the littlest pumpkin.
All day long, people came to the farm stand to buy pumpkins. Mr. Potter ran in to choose a pumpkin for his daughter, Kate. Poor Kate was home with the flu, but she had drawn pictures for her dad so he could see exactly what kind of pumpkin she wanted. Mr. Potter looked at every single pumpkin until he found the right one.
The sun began to set, and only 4 pumpkins were left of the farm stand. One pumpkin had a bruise on its back. One pumpkin was lumpy and bumpy. One pumpkin didn't have a stem, and the last pumpkin was the littlest pumpkin.
The littlest pumpkin still had big dreams. She would be a beautiful jack-o'-lantern at a Halloween party. She would shine in the dark with ghosts, monsters, witches, and fairies gathered around her singing a Halloween song.
But while the littlest pumpkin was dreaming, Gabe and Mona arrived. They ran up to the 4 remaining pumpkins. Gabe grabbed the stemless one. Perfect, he said. My jack-o'-lantern is going to wear this hat. Mona picked up the littlest pumpkin. Oh, how cute, she said. The littlest pumpkin was so happy. All her dreams were going to come true. But it's too small for me to carve into a jack-o'-lantern, said Mona, putting it down. Then she picked up the lumpy, bumpy one instead. Now this one is perfect.
Soon it was dark. The stars began to sparkle in the sky. Mr. Bartlett was cleaning up. Oh, please don't close yet, thought the littlest pumpkin. I must be a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween. Suddenly, Mr. Bartlett heard someone calling his name. Mr. Bartlett, Mr. Bartlett. It was Sam. Please wait, said Sam. I need a pumpkin for my party tonight.
Mr. Bartlett picked up the bruised pumpkin and told Sam that if he turned it around, it would make a very nice jack-o'-lantern. Sam agreed, and with that, Mr. Bartlett closed the farm stand. So there, in the dark on Halloween night, sat the littlest pumpkin. She was all alone, or so she thought.
For just when the littlest pumpkin was sure she was going to be spending Halloween night all alone in the empty farm stand, mice started scurrying around her. They were decorating everything, wearing tiny costumes and carrying all sorts of Halloween goodies. And before the littlest pumpkin knew what was happening,
She found herself in the middle of a Halloween party. Mice dressed in costumes were bobbing for cranberries, playing pin the tail on the squirrel, and eating cheese and crumbs. Then the best thing of all happened.
The littlest pumpkin was turned into a jack-o'-lantern. She was shining in the dark, with ghosts, monsters, witches, and fairies gathered around her and singing a Halloween song.
all her big dreams had come true on Halloween night. The end. I think that story is super sweet. And I think it's very important to read stories like this because it shows that we're all very special and we all have unique talents and are amazing in our own way. And someone will appreciate us no matter what we look like. And I think that's really awesome to see that the littlest pumpkin, who was very tiny, ended up being just the perfect size. And that is our story. And we loved reading it to you. I think the story is so sweet and I hope you enjoyed it too. And now we will pass it off to our other friends.
So we have one more book to share with you guys. It is a Halloween themed one this time. I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen. So this book is Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson. Here's the lovely witch on her broom and her little cat. The witch had a cat and a hat that was black, and long ginger hair in a braid down her back. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat when the wind blew so wildly it blew off the hat.
Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes, on thundering paws, there bounded a dog with the hat in his jaws.
He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, I am a dog, as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me? Yes, cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone.
Here's the witch, and there's the dog and the cat on the broomstick. Over the fields and the forest they flew, the dog wagged his tail and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed out loud and held out onto her hat, but away blew the bow from her braid just like that.
Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree, with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with a bow on her beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low.
Then said, as the witch tied her braid in the bow, I am a bird, as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me? Yeah. Oh, it's the previous page. Yes, cried the witch, as so the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Oh, it's a different page. The bird, not the dog.
And now there's a dog, a cat, and a bird on the broomstick. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew, the birds shrieked with glee, and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found.
Then all of a sudden, from out of a pond, leaped a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried her wand on a fold of her cloak, "I am a frog as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me?" "Yes," said the witch, so the frog bounded on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped for joy and
There's the frog joining in. The broom snapped in two. Down fell the cat and the dog and the frog. Down they went tumbling into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a cloud, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud.
I am a dragon as mean as can be, and a witch with French fries tasted delicious to me. "No," cried the witch, flying higher and higher. The dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. "Help," cried the witch, flying down on the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew near with a glint in his eyes, and said just this once, "I'll have witch without fries."
But just as he planned to begin on his feast, from out of a ditch rose a horrible beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 frightful heads, it had wings like a bird, and its terrible voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squelched as it strode from the ditch, and it said to the dragon, "Buzz off, that's my witch."
The dragon drew back and he started to shake. "I'm sorry," he spluttered. "I made a mistake. It's nice to have met you, but now I must fly." And he spread out his wings and was off to the sky. Then down flew the bird and down jumped the frog. Down climbed the cat and phew, said the dog. "And thank you, oh thank you," the grateful witch cried. "Without you, I'd be in that dragon's inside."
Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, "Find something, everyone, throw something in." So the frog found a lily, the cat found a cone, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone.
They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well. And while she was stirring, she muttered a spell. Iggity, ziggity, zaggity, zoom, and then out rose
A truly magnificent broom, with seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird, and a pool for the frog. "Yes," cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Here's all of them with on their broomstick with little seats for each of them. And that is the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed that book. It was a little Halloween, but also about making friends along the way and being kind to others, even if they're a little different from you.
Thank you, everyone, so much. And I think it was really great to have our student readers tonight, again from the Judy Genshaft Honors College Volunteer Committee and the Physician Assistant Program. And parents, as a mom, I really emphasize how much fun it is to read with your kids, scary books and funny books for Halloween and all types of holidays. And just as a helpful hint, what you can do to find lots of free books for your kids is this. You can go on your phone or your iPad or your computer, and you can type in the search window something like online books, or you can type in YouTube stories. The internet's pretty forgiving, so you can try all types of terms, and you can just type that in and great stories will show up. And then what you can do is you can read these stories to your own children, and you can turn off the sound for the YouTube videos so that your child hears you reading. So the beauty of this is that there are all types of great books out there, and it's a lot of fun to explore these books with your kids. Now, Ms. Zifferman from Easterseals, you're also a mom. Do you have any great ideas and suggestions?
Well, always your local public library. That's a great resource for getting all kinds of great quality literature available. And they also have where you can download it to your phone in an Audible format and check out books to listen to at home if you're not able to get into the library directly. And YouTube, like Miss Ellen said, is a great resource, and lots of books are published on YouTube for families to share. So I want to thank all of our readers tonight and all of our volunteers. They were wonderful stories. Room on the Broom is a particular favorite in our household. It's a favorite that we've enjoyed year after year with my girls. So it's such a cute and fun story about Halloween and about friendship. So thank you for sharing all of those lovely books and some of the craft activities. We'll make sure when our videos get posted that those get linked below in the description. And I want to thank Ellen again for this wonderful collaboration in bringing literacy to our families and just encouraging reading. So thank you all again. Have a wonderful Halloween.
And let's all say wave goodbye and happy Halloween.